Hey guys, David Tao with barbend.com. Me and my quarantine hair are here to bring you a recap of the 2020 Rogue Invitational, which, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, was a 100% virtual competition. 18 men and 17 women, some of the top athletes in the fitness space, competing from their home gyms or garages or wherever they're working out from around the globe. It was something unlike anything we've ever seen broadcast at this level in the fitness community. We're here to break down who won, some big lifts and major performances, and why it's so impactful to the fitness community that this event was actually able to occur. And if you want to stay on top of everything in fitness and strength sports, including news from strongman, powerlifting, weightlifting, CrossFit, you name it, make sure to subscribe to the Barbend YouTube channel and hit the notification button so you can stay up to date on all the important things that are happening. The Rogue Invitational is normally one of the year's biggest events in the CrossFit calendar. Now, this year was a little different. In the weeks leading up to the competition, Rogue actually removed the event's affiliation with CrossFit. We have a video explaining all of that we'll drop in the link below and link in a card. Something else important about this competition, it was entirely virtual. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, it couldn't take place on Rogue's campus in Columbus, Ohio, as it normally does. So 18 men, 17 women competing from around the world in their home gyms, their garage gyms. You had athletes competing in wildly different time zones, but going head to head at the same time. And kudos to Rogue's media team. They were able to broadcast it with very few glitches all at once. It made for an interesting viewing experience. They even had guest commentators like Annie Thorisdottir and recaps, breakdowns, and interviews with the athletes pretty much right after the events. It was an impressive technical lift. Another thing worth noting was who wasn't competing in this competition. Four-time defending CrossFit Games champion Matt Fraser had to pull out after it was revealed he had an injury in training leading up to the competition. Same with 2019 Fittest American Woman and CrossFit Games veteran Carrie Pierce. She had a wrist issue, so wasn't able to train like she wanted in preparation for this competition, so neither of them made an appearance in the virtual competition. So how did it all go down? Well, there were 6 events, 3 each day for the competition field. And at the end of day 1, not too many surprises as far as who is on top. Clair Toomey led for the women and Patrick Vellner led for the men. But let's highlight some stellar day 1 performances. Event 1 of day 1 was a pretty classic workout of thrusters and burpee pull-ups. Clair Toomey took the event win for the women. On the men's side for event 1, we had a bit of a surprise winner. 22-year-old Colton Martins came out with a blistering time of literally just over 7 minutes for the event win. Patrick Vellner hot on his heels with 7:10. Event 2 was one of my personal favorite to watch on the weekend. It was a two-parter, 2A and 2B. The first part was 50 power snatches for time, some athletes even going unbroken for this. And then starting at minute 5, 11 power snatches every minute on the minute in a last person standing sort of structure. Basically, can you keep going 11 power snatches on the minute every minute until no other competitors are left standing? On the women's side, Clair Toomey won for 50 snatches for time, but maybe unsurprisingly, strangely enough, the oldest competitor in the field, 38-year-old Sam Briggs out of the United Kingdom, was the last woman standing when it came down to those 11 power snatches every minute on the minute. On the men's side, Chandler Smith really closely edged out Yona Koski for the part 2A win, 50 power snatches for time, but it was Patrick Vellner who was the last man standing on the 11 power snatches on the minute. The last event of day 1 was double unders with a heavy rope and then toes to bar and calories on the bike. And on the women's side, it was young Haley Adams out of CrossFit Mayhem, a gym you might have heard of before, who came away with the event win. And on the men's side, as part of his very consistent performance on the weekend, Patrick Vellner came away with the event 3 win. So Toomey and Vellner were in the lead heading into day 2, and day 2 kicked off with a fan favorite event. Clean and jerks. Who can go the heaviest? Who will be the last person to lift the weight? And the longer you stay in, the heavier the bar gets. On the women's side, Clair Toomey had actually already ended up with the event win, but decided to go even further just to make sure. Again, realize athletes are competing from different locations around the globe. They're not watching each other from across the competition floor. she ended up hitting a 270-pound clean and jerk to secure the event win. Now, she is a 2016 Olympian in weightlifting. She's one of the strongest CrossFitters we've ever seen, so not a huge surprise there, but still a pretty impressive weight. And more than she ended up cleaning in the clean ladder at the 2019 CrossFit Games. On the men's side, Chandler Smith clean and jerked 360 pounds for what we think is a PR from him. He talked about that in an event interview right after the clean and jerks were over. So Clair Toomey and Chandler Smith coming out of the gates hot on day 2 with clean and jerk event wins. Event 5 was a pyramid style event with calorie row on either end, strict handstand push-ups in the middle, and some D-ball movements kind of sandwiched in between. It was Björkvin Karl Gudmundsson who came away with the event win on the men's side. And on the women's side, not a huge surprise if you've been following her for a while, Sarah Sigmundsdottir coming away with an event win. She's really fantastic at these events that feature a lot of different disciplines and a lot of different movements where you really don't want to hit muscular fatigue. And finally, just a quick one with a 6-minute time cap to end the competition. Event 6, 21-15-9, moderate weight deadlifts and moderate weight overhead squats. On the women's side, Clair Toomey won by over 16 seconds and cemented her spot at the top of the podium for the Rogue Invitational. On the men's side, 22-year-old Colton Martins was over 40 seconds faster than the next fastest competitor on this event. But Patrick Vellner was able to hang on for a 3rd place finish and secure his 2020 Rogue Invitational win. All right, that's it. Clair Toomey and Patrick Vellner win the 2020 Rogue Invitational, and final standings to the top 10 are right here on your screen. It's worth noting that while this is normally a major event in the CrossFit Games calendar, this event officially had no affiliation with CrossFit HQ. This is going to have some interesting repercussions to see if other events that were sanctionals qualifiers or listed as such in the coming years no longer act as feeders or qualifiers for the CrossFit Games. And while we were missing some big names at this year's Rogue Invitational, seeing this number of athletes competing virtually with this high of a production value behind the broadcast was still impressive and definitely a treat for functional fitness fans. For Barbend.com, I'm David Tao. Thanks for tuning in.